I mean, if you want to go deep, I think humans have a innate desire to be liked or to want to be accepted.
Well, because if you weren't accepted back in the days where there was tribes, you're kicked out of your tribe, you're dead.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Warriors Mindset Podcast, where the sayings, riddles, and many blunders of the wise are coming at you. I am sitting here with two of my business partners, Mr. Mitch Lilly.
How's it going, everyone?
And Mr. Patrick Pav.
What up?
We have Vice President Operations here and Chief Operating Officer of Warriors Management.
Yes, sir.
And so what we're bringing at you is Warriors Management mindset, what we think, what we say, what we do, and what we screw up. Ain't that right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, you guys screw anything up this week?
Yes.
That was a lot quicker than I thought it would be.
That was not on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are a few times in my career that I remember from mistakes I've made. There's one from like 8 years ago that I still think about pretty often, and so I think this weekend may be one of those moments I'll remember for a while. But it's all good now.
Was it a girl?
No, it was not. Nope.
Oh, you
all
share?
Good on that front.
You want to share?
Not really. There is no lessons for everyone else to learn. The people involved already learned the lessons. So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Mitch? You screw anything up this week?
This week, I don't think I...
What about when that stage roof fell on me? That was your fault, wasn't it?
Stage roof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Internal drama.
Stage roof.
The stage roof.
I don't remember the stage roof.
I was trying to
draw.
draw up controversy. There was no stage roof that fell on me.
No.
I
was gonna say I'd remember that for sure. Safety is my number 5 concern. So.
Yeah. Well, I organically asked that question, but I can think with both of you where we had some challenges, I guess. But I would say that I screwed up I did this twice, and when I do something twice. Oh, God, I beat myself up. And basically it came down to how I reacted and my words to these other people. And a matter of fact, they were both customers. They were both customers, and it had to do with Clock Tower Collectibles and the Toledo Sports Card Show. Show every Wednesday, 5 to 9, free dealer tables. And our next show is December something.
13th, I think.
Yeah. So we do a sports card show. But anyway, they say stupid things.
That's true.
Afterwards, I felt kind of sour. I didn't feel bad at all from what I said to you, guy.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I knew I was right. And then a couple other things I think that I overreacted. I didn't use patience. I didn't use kindness. I didn't use love.
Okay. Now thinking back on it, there's a couple things that I did screw up this week, but it wasn't like obvious,
You fixed it before anyone else found out. Those are the good ones.
Those are the good ones.
No, I guess it's just lessons that I have learned this week that we actually just recently kind of talked about, and that was like on Saturday I worked sushi from 12 to like 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay, and I haven't
That's
worked
10 and a half hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I haven't worked sushi a ton recently, so I'm not like super fast. I'm not slow by any means.
I heard your rolls were pretty tight, baby.
They're tight. I got some tight rolls. I try to keep them rolls tight, baby. But I was I was working with Kyle, our sous chef, and she's awesome. She's always super fast and efficient with rolling, but she also has a lot of other stuff to take care of in the kitchen, being the sous chef. So she was in the back attending to some things, and I was up front handling the rolls during lunch service. And I kind of, the tickets started to come in, and I was like, like, it's getting a little overwhelming here, like it's just me. And when you're rolling sushi and you have to-go orders coming in, and you have, the dining room to take care of, plating things and getting things out in a timely fashion by yourself can be tough. And I'm getting better at this, but I have always worked in the manner of I don't need help. I can do this myself.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just, it may be true. I can handle it myself, but is it in the best interest of the restaurant? Is it in the best interest of the customers and in our timeliness? And that wasn't necessarily the case. And I believe, after looking back on it, I was like, I'm looking around at what the managers are doing, what people are doing, and they're not really doing anything super important, that I can see. So, looking back at it, I should have probably said, hey, can one of you guys just help me plate or box this sushi so I can just roll them up and you box them or plate them? Mm-hmm. That way we can get this product out, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's something I screwed up on, was I just didn't speak up in the moment when I should have just said, hey, I need help.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this yesterday, and it kind of led to the subject and title of this episode. And it's just fucking say it. And I tend to, as the CEO of Warriors Management, as I roam around and have meetings and eat in the restaurants and talk to customers and deal with advertising and bills and breakdowns and bullshit, I pretty much see and hear everything. And so if I addressed everything that I see or what was told to me, I would go crazy, which I've probably done that a couple times, says my son. However, if something happens 3 times, if someone says something, 1, 2, 3, 3 times, then I address it. Mm-hmm. And you, my friend, brought up the 3rd time where our sushi kind of was challenged on Friday night of the other night.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenged on Friday night due to just, it was busy. Yeah. Sushi got crushed. There's a lot of volume at Dinner Rush.
Yeah.
And we had some new guys up on the line, and it was only three of us.
Yeah.
I don't roll all the time, although I'm pretty sufficient, but I was just plating.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just trying.
You had one full-time person, one new guy, and then
yes. And,
So he got a little practice?
Oh, yeah. The new guy definitely got some practice. And I think it was good overall, even though our times weren't ideal. It stretched those guys, right?
Yeah.
And you need to be stretched in order to grow. So I think it's important to, I could have said, you know what? I'm taking over. I'm going to be wheel. Like, this is too slow. And we might have been able to, go, 10 minutes faster or something. Get our tickets 10 minutes faster, 15 minutes faster. But I think in the long run, letting it go a little bit and letting them stretch and feel the pressure is going to be a little bit more rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're right.
beneficial.
And it's kind of funny because when I approach situations that I think I have to get involved in, especially when it comes to customer service, what's our mission statement? Great food, great service, be a positive impact on coworkers and the community, right? Mm-hmm. So when I hear this, and you weren't the only one I heard this from in regards to the sushi being challenged, nobody was like negative about it. However, both times you told me the story, one of the first things you said was you saw other people that could pitch in. People were doing other things that maybe weren't so as urgent as what you were doing, okay?
Yeah.
So I heard this elsewhere too. So this is, first of all, the way I think about it. One, in a if you look at a box of ingredients, the first and second ingredient, like say it's sugar, it's mostly sugar. It has the most out of any other ingredient. Whenever somebody is speaking to me about a story and there's a challenge or a problem, I always listen to what they say first the most and then let them keep talking so I can develop my opinion. But usually that first frustration is where you go. That's kind of the heart of it. And so I said this to you. I go, so essentially, paraphrasing our long conversation, did you just stand there and eat shit or did you ask for help? And the reality is, I think I don't know. What did you do? I can't remember.
On Friday, Nathan did come up and he was helping us roll some rolls.
The general, our awesome general manager.
Yeah, so he stepped in and helped us out a little bit until the tickets were, taken care of for the most part, and we were a little caught up. So on Friday that was good. But, I think we just have to remember to ask for help, really, is the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Instead of expecting people to see the big picture, because at the end of the day, the managers in the restaurant, they have the whole restaurant to oversee. So they're seeing it from a bird's eye view of the restaurant instead of, when I'm on sushi, when I'm scheduled at a sushi shift, I'm focused in on a macro level.
Yeah.
Or a micro level of that sushi position.
Well, this is where when we talk about the management and like these guys are really great and coming along really good, but when you're talking about system management, okay, so there's people management, there's both customers and employees, but then there's system management. So system management would be managing every aspect of the system in order for it to produce, right?
Yep.
And so keeping an eye on everything is the simple way of putting it, and just solving problems, looking for fires.
Yes.
And then, because if you're just standing around and the system's going good and you're the systems manager, then that's good. But if you need to be looking at everything. So we don't necessarily have that yet. But there is good leaders in each particular category or department.
Yes.
And so therefore that leader has to, take the lead in that situation, cut carry out for an hour.
Yep.
Or raise it 2 hours. Most people aren't going to say yes. 50% will say yes.
Right.
They want our sushi. Best sushi in town, the Grateful Crow, Chelsea, Michigan.
Well, in
420 North Main.
Sweet 100.
But anyway, you got to say something.
Yes.
You got to communicate. And most people, what I said yesterday as we were talking about this before it even made the podcast, is that people are worried about what other people will react. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm a good reader of people. I like playing poker, and I think you guys are good too. But especially in spontaneous, if someone's in a mode and then you change their mode. Think about it. When you were fixing the door yesterday, if I would have said, hey, go roll some sushi real fast. I mean, you were in a cowboy hat. You were had your tools. You were all greasy. That's kind of what happens. And so you have to say it anyway and allow the people to pivot.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And, from a different perspective, it's like, as a manager, when you're looking around, I know you're trying to look at a macro level and you're overseeing the whole restaurant, but you mentioned finding fire, looking for fires to put out.
Yes.
And maybe there's not necessarily fires to put out, but maybe there's kinks in your hose that aren't allowing the water to flow as it should, right?
Well, fires smaller. I mean, if we like our sushi times to be 30 minutes, let's say, inside, which is long, and they're 40 minutes, that's a fire. It's a spark.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go to 50, 60, and then all of a sudden one fucking table orders 12, 13 rolls.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff that requires the attention of the 4 people when we need 6.
Right. Yes.
Hey, if you want to roll some sushi and you want to learn a badass skill and you like sushi, come with us, the Grateful Crow.
We were trained by Michelin star chef. So
Michelin, like the tires.
yeah.
Anyway,
Michelin star
Tires
chef,
and
so-
cooking.
yeah. Anyway, so it's important to say something. Why do people not say stuff? What do you think, Pat?
I mean, they're afraid of the other person's reaction, seems to be. And I think this is in business or in life. Like, you're afraid of how people will
perceive you
or roll their eyes at you, which I had someone roll their eyes at me like last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like the third time or fourth time they'd done it.
my
And
goodness.
well,
they don't work with us anymore. But
and
we fired 2 people because of shit like that.
yeah,
That's
this particular person rolled his eyes when I told him he was wrong in the situation that was being addressed. So,
well, and in regards to, like you mentioned, turning carry out up to 2 hours. It's like, or just cutting it off completely. Because, at the end of the day, our number one priority is to create an experience for people.
Yep.
We're not just trying to push food out and here's your food, have a good day. Like, we want them to remember this experience. And I understand that it's, if the quality of the food is good, your willingness to wait goes up. However, if you deliver quickly and you have high quality food, that only increases their chances of them spreading the word to others and coming back, right?
Yeah, so repeat customers, but more important, equally as important, is if you can't produce what your potential is to sell, then that could put you in a tough situation, especially with what are our goals.
Right.
So, do we want to turn anything away? So what we have to do is amp production. We talked about this. I don't know if it was on the podcast or why we were sitting here, but you said you want to be in production times because we really limit. I mean, we are B-type business owners where we own systems and we oversee those systems, but don't necessarily work in those systems unless we have to, and we're working towards some goals with that.
Well, it's like when you're rolling during
40,000 hours.
It's like we're in the trenches.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
battle,
Yeah, so like what we have to do is amp our production. So I'm saying something. But back to you, Pat, in regards to why do people don't say something?
Yeah.
Scared of how the other person's gonna react.
yeah, I mean, I've been guilty of that over my time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot better now, but
think
it
all have.
It still comes to like, and if the other person's personality is someone who like argues or rolls your eyes, I guess, like sometimes it makes you less likely to immediately want to say something because you don't want the conflict.
Yeah, which I would say if you want to make any kind of money at all in your life, all those reasons are bullshit and should be thrown in the fucking garbage.
I agree.
Fuck that. Fuck how people are going to react if you as the leader know, one, you get paid for it. I get paid for it. And then two, have more experience. Like there's so many reasons. So you got all those are bullshit. So we're done with those. Amen.
Amen.
So be it. I want to tell you another reason. I've read this book. This was one of the first books one of my mentors told me to read, The 5 Temptations of a CEO. And I picked it up because I found myself in a couple areas kind of being tempted. And one of the reasons they say is putting your career status before the company. So what kissing someone's ass and being good to someone, whether they're lower or upper, because what your subordinates say about you can increase your career. And this is like corporate stuff. This is Patrick Lancioni.
Good name.
Anyway, so sometimes you don't say certain things even to your bosses because of career status. That's what this guy says.
Well, that's
don't want to ruffle feathers, right?
Talks about being liked as well, right? One of the temptations.
Then since you brought it up, that's temptation 1. Temptation 2 is
a temptation is you want to be liked, and you shouldn't strive to be liked.
No, it's not. It's being liked influencing your actions.
Okay. Yep.
Like doing something or not doing something to try and be liked by your people.
Right.
Yeah. And that's temptation.
Instead of doing right,
or
instead
that's
of
the
looking
one.
at it as right or wrong.
Correct.
Like, this is the right way to do it, so I'm doing it.
The want to be liked.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the second one. And then what'd you say? You said something really good. You said, like, why do people do that?
Why do people,
put their career before, like, doing what's right?
Yeah. I mean, no, I think you saw it.
Oh, I see.
I was talking about being liked. You said about
how
your
about
career
this?
status.
What is this? It's putting yourself and the people before the business, right?
Yeah.
You got to put the business. You got to do what's right by the business. The second temptation. The third one is the desire to be popular.
Or desire to be, yeah.
So to be popular, like, I'd rather be popular with my teammates. I'd rather people like me than do what's right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it kind of goes hand in hand, and it's funny he pushed both those, but it's like, why? Like it doesn't make you money. I can tell you. You have to fucking say something.
I mean, if you want to go deep, I think humans have a innate desire to be liked or want to be accepted.
Well, because if you weren't accepted back in the days where there was tribes, you're kicked out of your tribe, you're dead. Because it's going to be a lot harder to provide for yourself and live without that
to not
tribe.
have a team.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's rooted in our being, just for survival. It's a survival instinct.
I think now, though, you're more likely to be liked, or it helps if you help people make a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah, and I think with us in our industry, which is mostly the hospitality and entertainment industry, is that we have to be nice, and like our mission statement is be a positive impact. But what is a positive impact? Like truth, right? Like saying things. Why are we all fucking doing this? To make money. And to be honest with you, I'm not making enough money. And I don't think any of us are, considering what our talents and stuff are. So we're going to change that by building that. But it starts now. Like, if we're going to be any better and level up, us three, we have to say something. And I always catch shit because I'll say anything and everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of my problem too.
I don't give a fuck.
I tend to probably say too much.
Yeah, I say too much. I need to think it out more, but I'd rather say too much than not say shit. Like, if I walked in and I saw the sushi behind, I'd be like, cut that fucking carry out. What the fuck's going on? Oh, we got 2 people out. Shit. Dog.
Yep.
You got to say it. You know what I mean? And I think it's important. And all you, and I want you to say it to me too. I mean, people are starting, because I'm kind of like up front, straight shooter, right to the jugular as much as I can with love. People are doing it to me too. You saw Brighton do it to me yesterday.
Yeah. And,
she was like, the fuck? No, what's our payday? Because I was wanting to give something, and she's like, fuck, what's in it for us and our company and what we're trying to accomplish?
Well, and at the end of the day, we perceive people's love towards us as has to be like, oh, like so sweet and tender.
I know.
When in reality,
it's a sword.
Someone can love you harshly because they have what's best for you in mind, right? Yeah. And they want to make sure that you're doing what's best for yourself to move yourself forward, and quite possibly other people's lives as well.
Well, I think it's kind of like there's some old ancient writings in regards to what is it? Spare the rod, spoil the child. We'll find it in Proverbs, but Elijah, you probably know, son of a pastor, like. There are proverbs that say, like, if you discipline your children, you love them. So if you discipline your your subordinates. Like, they're employees. Like, we're leading, and we're not dictators, but you got to discipline and tell them what's up.
Yeah,
we're trying to build them
Proverbs
up.
23:13-14. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. If you strike him with a rod, you will save his soul from Sheol.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know what? There's a lot of motherfuckers out there that have worked for us or that I know that I've told them that they're making bad fucking decisions, and some of them are dead right now. I swear to fucking God. And you know a couple of them, and there's about 6 people in my life, probably 4 of them that worked for me that fucking died because they didn't listen to me. The last guy told him to go to the doctors. It was something simple. He fucking died a week later.
Well, and on the flip side, you know, you've disciplined people in the past, and they in the moment they were angry with you or angry at you, but a couple years down the line they come back and say, thank you so much for firing me and disciplining me.
Yeah.
That really helped me move forward in life, and now I'm here because of it.
Yeah, and I've said that. I've had many people thank me for firing them, but you know where that comes from? Knowing that can help someone is it happened to me. I got fired for my own good. Okay? And it was like not a good moment for me because I actually didn't have any money at the time. So shit's real, and you gotta fucking be real. Like, I don't want to not be real. I'm almost half a century old. You're like over a quarter century, newly married. Fuck.
Yeah.
What'd you do to get fired?
Huh?
What'd you do to get fired?
Well, you just say the thing earlier that you didn't say.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to say it if you
Well,
want
I won't say that story, but there was another moment where I should have been fired. And then I got fired after it, but it was when I was working at a restaurant under 21 and ordered a beer. And
to. At the restaurant?
at the restaurant I worked at, they all fucking knew. That was one of the stupidest things I ever did. And they fucking pulled me in the back, and I'm surprised. I can't believe I didn't get fired. I didn't get fired from that place anyway. I ended up quitting the Salvino
They could have
babies.
lost their liquor license, right?
Fucking A right. There's a lot of bullshit. Not in Haiti. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't care
You
about
can
that
drink
there.
and drive. Anyway, I think that you got to speak up, and I think it's important. Like, you don't worry about being popular. However, like, then you got to add all the soft skills into it, like compliment sandwich, sometimes, say something that they do really good, tell them where they're doing not so good, and then tell them where they're doing good, and you just kind of got to use it. And it depends on who it is, and that's where you got to use people skills. But you should always say what's right, especially when you're at war, which Friday night, Saturday night, everybody's at war.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Pizza and sushi and burgers like a motherfucker.
You know what's funny is you mentioned the compliment sandwich, and I was in the back on Saturday. No, it was Friday. I was in the back on Friday, and
At
I was
the Grateful
at the
Crow.
Grateful Crow, and I was just I was tending to the rice. Rice is crucial in sushi. It is the most important part, the base of the whole.
Yeah, it's like
roll.
the
You're like a
dough.
rice
It's like the
general.
dough in the pizza.
I am hardcore about the rice, and if I don't like anything about the rice, I speak up and I'm like, hey, this is how the rice needs to be. And
I'm really bad at making rice, even with a rice maker. I'm terrible.
It's
at
tough
it.
at home. It's way easier at this place. It's just
So-
like a whole thing.
So I'm in the back, and Joe comes up, and he's like, hey man, I really appreciate you, and blah blah blah. But I noticed your rolls are a little weak, and I was like, weak? What do you mean? He's like, there's not a lot of rice on them, and I was like, what? You talking about my fried rolls? He's like, yeah. I said, well, I do that on purpose. And he's like, I knew you were gonna say something like that. He said you always.
Oh shit, that's
He said
funny.
you always do something with purpose. You never do something on accident, typically. And I was like, yeah. I said the purpose is
So it cooks all the way through.
so it's to compensate for the tempura and the panko that is going to be put on the outside, so that the roll doesn't come too big. So
Yeah,
it's
sometimes
actually-
the motherfucking
so that
Las
it's-
Vegas rolls
so
They're
that
pretty
it's
big.
actually bite-sized, and it's more conducive for the customer to eat,
Yeah.
as well as us to plate and box,
Yeah.
because then it fits on the plates better and fits in the boxes better.
Yeah, sometimes they're
So, so I've been trying to push that at the restaurant, but I noticed, I didn't say anything, but I was like, oh, he just compliment sandwiched me,
Yeah. Yeah, I like
I was
it.
like, that was good.
And I think that I think our culture is the best it's ever been
oh yeah,
in regards to all this stuff. And this is where I see, okay, where are we weak? And I said, where am I weak? Because usually where I'm weak, we're weak in a lot of those areas, especially like in this, as we're trying to figure out how do we lead this and what the fuck is this that we're doing? You know what I mean? Because there's so many wild aspects. I mean, I bet you sold pizza, sports cards, Pokemon, and sushi this week, and possibly a burger and a cocktail.
Yep.
And so, like, what the hell's going on? But it's like a carnival, right? And I think that if we're going to execute at a super high level, man, we need to constantly be lifting people up and being critical as fuck. And I think when we're being criticized, we should follow the number one fucking rule that I have, and that's to be a student.
Absolutely.
And even if that person is wrong and you got to tell them get fucked, eat shit, that's okay. Do it with a smile.
well, and
I'm talking about our teammates,
Yeah.
customers. I love my customers. Our customers, the customers.
Sometimes you got to tell them to eat shit too.
right.
Oh yeah, I don't mind firing a customer if I have to.
Last resort, though.
Being stupid
And
after midnight, nothing good happens.
I think a lot
That
of
is
people are scared of criticism. They're scared of being criticized, and they a lot of the times take it the wrong way. But just as people talk about self-care, and self-care is not,
What is self-care?
it's not
Sleep.
going home.
Sleep is self-care,
Right.
motherfuckers.
But it's not going home and sitting on the couch and watching Netflix and relaxing and it's not doing those things. It's not going to McDonald's and eating ice cream. Self-care is doing the things that move you forward even though you don't like it, which is the discipline. And it's like going to the gym. It's hard. You don't want to do it most of the time. And you're going in to break yourself down. That way you can build yourself up. And I see criticism as, hey, this might feel harsh and it might feel painfully to you. However, I'm doing it so that it can build you up afterwards if you apply it to your life. And I think people need to look at it that way and not take it so it's like they take it too personally.
Like you're getting slapped in the face or something.
Yeah. Like, don't take it so personally, man. I actually want you to be better. I want you to be the best version of yourself, and that's why I'm pointing this out.
I think we need to read this book. We're reading another one too. But I'm reading like 3 right now, actually. I'm kind of like thumbing through.
I have too many books I'm reading.
Patrick Leone's combination of horny management truths and simple prose has struck a chord with business leaders tired of jargon and complicated
There's
strategic
no way
models.
it says that.
I swear it says horny. Look at it.
Or, you sure it's...
That says homie.
Oh,
Management homies.
I was like,
Check your eyeglass
Yeah.
Prescription, man.
Yeah.
This is a
man.
great book, though. I've read this a few times.
yeah, I'm thumbing through it again, and I kind of use
such
it.
confidence, dude. It's like you're like, yeah, amen, dude.
Amen. Well, yeah. Oh, I kind of here. Yeah, I kind of use books like this. There's probably 10 different books that I kind of use like a handbook.
This is the one where he's on the train, right?
Yeah.
Talking to the guy.
Yeah, it's handbook because they're like fables.
Yeah.
And they're really good. But yeah, speak up. Hey, guys, if you're with Warriors or any of our companies, let's talk and communicate because that's what it's for.
Yeah.
So it's like you need, a Vegas role. Tell them you need a Vegas role. But if you need help because you're getting what we call slammed, say something.
Absolutely.
All right. So I think that's it for the Warriors Mindset podcast of this edition. Yeah. See you later.
Have a great day.
Build each other up, guys.